This is the makeup tutorial that you guys have been begging me for. I think I did such a good job today. Today was a good beat. Today was a good beat. This lighting is a little messed up, so just bear with me. I'm still figuring it out. But let's just jump right into it. Hey girls! Ooh. You want to start with skincare? You do whatever skincare you need. The hair. You do whatever skincare you need to do. I like to start with these Glow Recipe Dew Drops. It's like a primer and skincare in one. I like my makeup to be dewy. I like my skin to look glowy, and this really adds to the glow. Glowy. I also like to do... She's almost done. She's on her last leg. After I do my primer, I like to do a little bit of setting spray sometimes. I just got a new bottle of this, so I'm feeling brave, and I'm gonna use this. I wasn't doing this for a while because I was rationing this, but I got a new bottle, so we're good now. I'm scared to play music. I feel so awkward in the silence, but I'm so afraid of playing music on YouTube. I feel like the background is kind of quiet. We need a candle or something. Hold on. Okay, is that better? I don't know. Okay, so my skin is prepped. Now I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. This is Juvia's Place cream bronzer in the shade Amber. Just kind of load my brush up with it and then even it out on the back of my hand, just to make sure I'm getting like an even application. Go straight in on the skin with that. When you're sculpting your face, you need to learn what your face shape is, right? You can't sculpt the way that I'm sculpting and then expect it to look the same if our face shape is not anywhere close to being the same. So you really have to play around with your face shape and see what looks good on you. But basically, I'm using my bronzer the way that I would contour. I don't really like an ashy gray contour. I like a... Yeah, that's good. That's real good. I like a nice warm contour. I don't know why. I don't like the ashy gray on my skin. But you're going to place your bronzer slash contour, and then you're going to blend it up into the cheek a little bit. You don't want it to go too far up. You also don't want to bring it down at all. I also hit my temples with it, and I bring it into the outer corner of my eye. You could have told me that I had an eye boogie. Oh, God. And I'm using tapping motions to blend because I feel like that is just the best way to lay product down. I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion!
That's my opinion!
Beautiful. Very beautiful. Love. I also like to take a kind of fluffy brush. This is a Huda Beauty brush. That helps blend my eyeshadow into my nose contour. I don't do too much nose contour, but it just helps to make everything look seamless, you know? And for my nose contour, this is pretty much all I do. I take a little bit of bronzer, I put it under the tip of my nose. Don't know if that makes sense. And then just a little bit up the sides of that tip. And then a little bit across this crease here. And that's it. That's as much as I do with my nose. I don't really do anything else with my nose until later on. When I'm baking, I use some of the powder to carve out my nose, but I don't do like an actual up and down nose contour. For the jawline, I don't do too much. I just feel like it looks unnatural. It looks like a beard almost. I just do whatever... Hello? I just put whatever's left on my brush on that little bit just for some definition, but I don't really see the need for doing that. If I have a double chin, I have a double chin. Doesn't matter. So the face is very nice and bronzed, warm, lovely. This is something that I just recently started doing. I take a tissue or sometimes even a Q-tip. I don't put any product on it, and I just very lightly go under that bronzer. I'm not trying to take up too much of the primer, but I am trying to take up some of that excess bronzer and kind of create more of a sharp line. Do you see that? You're not pushing too hard on your skin, you're just very lightly doing it because remember, we have primer underneath, so we don't really want to take that away. It chisels my cheeks and makes my ooh! I love that. I love that. That never gets old. Next, I'm gonna do concealer. Again with the eye boogies. Why aren't you telling me that I have eye boogies? You guys ask all the time how I get my under eyes to look the way that they look. We're putting the concealer on the inner corner and I'm not carrying it all the way up under my eye. I'm staying away from where my eyes naturally crease. Some of you have probably heard me say this before, but this is makeup, not Botox. We can't get rid of the creasing, but we can lessen the appearance of the creasing. And this is one of the ways that I do that. I avoid the crease while my concealer is setting. You know, you leave your concealer to set so you get extra coverage and all of that. We know that. This is nothing revolutionary. I'm gonna do a little bit on my forehead and my chin. I don't like too much brightness there. A little tiny bit on the bridge of my nose. This is an old brush. This is a Morphe E8. I'm gonna use this for my concealer. I'm blending out my chin immediately because I don't really like my chin to be too bright. I'm blending out my forehead immediately as well. And I'm just feathering out the edges of this concealer. We don't want it to dry in a harsh line like that. I also recently started doing this one and I've been really enjoying the way that it works. I mix a little bit of my concealer. You could use a darker concealer shade if you want to. That's easier, but I don't have one. So I mix a little bit of my concealer with my foundation. And then I just place that right here where I need a little bit of brightness, but I don't really want it to be extremely bright, you know. I also do a little bit on my nose because I have a little bit of redness on the side of my nose, on the side of my lip as well. Like if I have any little pimples or spots that I want to cover up. Like right now I have some really bad pimples over here. Where did these come from? My skin was looking good today. I don't know where those came from. But I just go ahead with that darker shade and then I blend that out almost immediately. So I'm gonna tap this part out. I'm gonna be a little adventurous, a little spicy. Put a little bit of that extra that's left on my brush under my bronzer just to reinforce that cleanup that I did earlier. I could blend that out immediately as well. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, cool. So let me just clean my hands because my hands are full of product and I'm gonna get that everywhere. Moving on, we're gonna do blush. I love a cool tone blush usually, but today I'm gonna use this Patrick Tar. It looks disgusting. All right. Let me clean it up because the packaging on this is just so pretty. My grubby little fingers just ruin it every single time. Yes, we're gonna use this Patrick Tar blush. Recently got this in PR and I recently got this in PR and I love it. It's a corally blush. It's not something that I'm used to. I don't usually use a coral blush, but I've been loving it. I've actually really enjoyed this and thank you so much Patrick Tar for that. When I got this package I was in awe. I was like, Patrick Tar? I'm such a huge fan of Patrick Tar. Huge fan. Patrick. Huge fan. Love you. I love you. I really do. I love your work. I just love the way that he sculpts a face and it's just so I don't even have words, honestly. Ooh, sweating on my concealer. Skins are not millimeter. Okay, I'm gonna use this cat paw brush. This is from the UK. Got this on Amazon. This comes in a 32-piece set. I have 4 of these. Well, I gave away 1, so I have 3 of these now. And I love this brush set for the price. It's really good. And you know what I usually don't like? When you get a brush set and a good chunk of the brushes are not really usable. Like they're kind of useless. Every single one of the brushes in this set I've used. So there's that. I like to stay on the higher points of my cheek. I don't really bring it too far down. I like to stay up here. Now I don't do the front of my cheek because I have really plump cheeks, right? And if I put blush here, it's gonna make my cheeks look heavier, feel heavier, and it's gonna drag my face down. I don't want that. Is that blush just not like so pretty? This lighting, I feel like you can't see anything. Is that better? Is that a little bit better? I think it's a little bit better. We'll figure this out. This is my first makeup tutorial, okay? On YouTube. Well, in a while. It's been a while. What I like to do is, I don't know if you noticed, but now there's a harsh line between the contour and the blush, I just go back in with my contour brush. You don't have to put any more product on it, and I just blend those two together. I love that. I love this blush because it just, the corally, maybe I'm just biased because it's Patrick Tan. I love Patrick. But I just stuck my finger in that. Oh, I ruined the little P. God. Because it's like a coral color, it looks very natural on my skin. It looks like a natural blush. Like I'm just naturally blushing. So before we start adding foundation, this little piece of concealer that I did here, the darker shade, I'm just gonna blend that out. And again, we're bouncing. We're gonna bounce, bounce, bounce. Now it's time for foundation. I'm gonna start with a little bit of foundation. You don't need to start with too much. Most foundations now are buildable, which means you can add a layer, let it dry, and then add another layer. We're gonna start small. This is a Huda Beauty foundation brush. I love this brush so much. Huda, I need about 10 of these, please. This is the Face Buff and Blend brush. It's so dense. It's so soft. It's beautiful. It's just the perfect shape for foundation. It gets your foundation done like really quickly. And I'm a brush girly forever. I don't really like doing my foundation with a sponge anymore. I feel like sponges absorb so much product. We're putting down the foundation everywhere that we don't really have that much product right now. So that would be like under the cheek. We didn't really put too much hair. The gaps that we're missing in between all of the product, we're gonna put the foundation there first. That's already beginning to look flawless. Okay, love that. And now we can go in with a little bit more. So I have concealer here, I have bronzer here. I'm gonna put that in the middle just to blend those two together. Put some right around my nose. And now that there's not much left on my brush, I'm gonna start going over everything. So we're gonna go over the bronzer, and again we're patting, we're not swiping because we don't want to move the product under the foundation. We want to just blend everything together. So you see how I feel like I've lost a little bit of definition? You know what I can do now is I can go back in with my bronzer and my blush and add another layer if I wanted to. Because I'm working in thin layers, it doesn't really cake up, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel cakey. It doesn't look cakey, but you can build the layers, build the definition. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more bronzer. It's like painting. I see this technique. The eye boogies, where do these keep coming from? I see this like painting. You know, you add layers. Every time you want a little bit more, you want a little bit more brightness, you want a little bit more depth, you add a layer. You can do that with makeup. It's just like painting. This is one of the reasons I fell in love with makeup so much, because to me it felt like painting, and I was really into art. I still am very much into art. I'm very much an artist. Fun fact, I actually paint satin. So I paint fabric, silk and satin, although I don't really do silk that much because silk is expensive. But yeah, I'm an artist. I always have been an artist, and makeup is just one of those things that feels like art to me. This is gonna look like a full face, but not at the same time. It's gonna look like a natural full face. This is what the girls mean when they say a natural glam. It is a full glam, like my face is covered in makeup right now. But it's natural. It looks natural. Next, we're gonna blend the concealer. But I feel like my concealer has been sitting there for a little while, so it could be a little bit dry by now. We're gonna go in with this setting spray again. I'm gonna spray a little bit of this just to rehydrate that concealer. And this is gonna add a really nice glow to my face as well. It's also gonna set my face so my face stays all night long. While we let that dry a little bit, I'm gonna prep my sponge. No, it's not a sponge. This is a puff. I'm gonna prep my puff for setting. You want to have this puff prepped. Prep the puff, please. I'm gonna load this baby up with some powder. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in Pound Cake. This is definitely expired. Now, do you see that? Do you see how uneven that is? If you set your under eyes with that, your under eyes are gonna look like this. They're gonna look patchy and uneven. You wanna start patting this out on the back of your hand. I like to swipe back and forth as well. So you pat and swipe until it's more of an even distribution. I feel like I should have done this with a black sponge so that you could see a little bit better. I'm gonna switch to a black sponge just so you can see what that really looks like. So again, we've loaded the sponge. Do you see how uneven that is? We don't want to set our under eyes with that. We start patting it out. Look at that. That's a lot more even than what we had before. And it's a nice thin layer now as well. You don't want to go in with a thick layer on wet concealer. No, we want a thin layer of powder. We're gonna look up and start blending that concealer. And looking up just stretches the creases that you have under your eyes. Again, this is not Botox, so the creases aren't gonna go away completely. But we can minimize the appearance, and stretching the creases out before setting them can help minimize the appearance of your creases. We take our puff, you're looking up still, don't look down. And you're gonna lightly pat that on there. Again, it's just a light thin layer that we're doing. I go ahead and I set the rest like here with that as well. The excess, I just kind of set the rest. I'm gonna come closer. You see I have creases, and those creases are gonna be, they're gonna be there. You can't do anything about it. So I'm gonna use the excess powder on this puff just to set like my chin, set my forehead. I forgot to blend my nose. I'm gonna use a fluffier brush to set the rest of my face. And I'm doing that with a little bit of this Kosas, what is it? Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Pillowy. This is a little bit light, so I'm not gonna use too much. I'm using a very, very tiny amount on a very fluffy brush. Very fluffy brush. Okay, so my face is set. But now we're gonna do more layering. We have more layers to add. Now I'm in between shades. I have a little bit of a tan going on. So usually when I'm not this tanned, I would use this one. And when I'm super tanned, I'll use this one. But I'm kind of in between these two right now, so I'm gonna mix them. These are the Juvia's Place Bronzing Duo. This is tan, and this is dark. Do I want to use a fan brush? I haven't used a fan brush to do my bronzing in a while. Okay, I'm gonna try it. This is a fluffy brown. This is a fluffy flat. Fuck. This is a fluffy fan brush from the UK. It's the same to the two-piece brush set that I was talking about that's on Amazon. I'm gonna get into both of these. This fan brush is juicy. It's a nice thick fluffy fan brush. I don't like to see those scraggly tiny little fan brushes in a brush set. I hate those because they're just not useful at all. Because of the shape of it and how thin it is, it allows you to just get into the hollow. Lets you do that bronzer with a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more precision. An ABH brush, A23. I'm using my Patrick Ta. Oh, she is soft. I forgot how soft she is. Oh. Love this blush. I feel like it adds a little bit of blurring as well. I like to bring this a little bit under my eyes as well. It just really, I don't know, it's just such a pretty place to put blush, like right here. God, I love putting blush right there. Beautiful. I'm gonna do my eyes. I'm gonna do my eyes really, really quickly. I just have a quick eye look that I like to do that is super simple, super quick, super easy. Doesn't take much effort. It's the Huda Beauty Creamy Obsession. I love these. These are so easy to work with. So easy to work with. And I only use one color from this palette for this look, which is the black. I think it's black or a really dark gray. I get a really tiny brush. This is actually a lip brush from the same DUK set. Load my brush up with this creamy pigment. Using the tip of this brush just to create the wing. Do a tiny wing. It doesn't have to be super perfect. Just a tiny wing. And you're pulling that back into the eyelid. What you can do is take your finger and just very gently pull that up. So you get like a really feathered out wing. And this lip brush, it's not just like flat, it has a bit of a fluff to it. I don't know how to describe that, but that helps me to smudge the shadow on the eye. You can add more. You're just gonna layer again with the layers. Also gonna smudge a little bit of this on the lower lash line, but I'm keeping that towards the outer corner. I'm gonna tight line my upper lash line. I know a lot of us don't really like this. I know it feels weird. It is weird, it looks weird. So if you don't like how this looks when somebody's tight line in their upper lash line, look away. Look away. Oh, this is the Huda Beauty. This is the Huda Beauty Creamy Kohl eyeliner in Very Vanta. I love this so much. It's so creamy. It just makes doing this so easy because you don't need that much pressure to get pigment. Yeah, I'm gonna tight line my waterline as well. This is my favorite part, but also the most nerve-wracking part for me. My inner corner liner. A couple of you have asked for this tutorial and I don't really know how to explain it. It's just a thing that I do. I'll show you. Start with the upper lash line and I follow that downwards. Follow that down. And you just want to do like the tiniest flick. Literally, I barely did anything. It's just a tiny little flick. You're gonna connect that tiny little flick to the bottom lash line. So I'm just gonna shut up and do it because I can't really talk and do it at the same time. See, it's just the tiniest little flick. That's my inner corner liner. Beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, stunning, wonderful. Also wanted to bake my under eyes. I bake my under eyes a little bit, but I don't do it for too long, so I don't know if you could really call it baking. I think it's just like an extra set. So I load up my puff. You can put a lot of powder on there, that's fine. And I use that to carve the side of my nose. And I'm just gently patting that on. Right there. Remember the technique that we did with the concealer where we blended out the edges? I'm gonna do that with the powder as well. Just blend out the edges of the powder so that it doesn't set in a harsh, blotchy line. And that's it. We're gonna leave that for just like a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes. I can probably do my eyebrows. In the meantime, I'm not gonna do too much on my eyebrows. I usually don't do my eyebrows. I don't like to do my eyebrows. I don't like doing my eyebrows. I know people will say like you have to fill your eyebrows in because it just completes the look. I don't care. Just it doesn't do that for me. I have pretty thick eyebrows. I pride myself in my eyebrows. I don't know. I love them. They're beautiful and I like to leave them natural, you know? And then for the bake, that's it. We're done baking. Literally has been like 2 minutes. And I'm gonna dust that off. I'm starting by bouncing my brush. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I bounce in like outward motions like that. Now I need you to pay attention to how I set my face, okay? Because this is important. This is very important. With the Charlotte Tilbury. Woo, okay. So the face is drenched. That is what we want. We want the face to be drenched. That's why I wish I did this before I did my eyes. You don't want to talk while you're doing this because you could potentially crease everything. You just want to sit still. And this is why my Charlotte Tilbury finishes that quickly. It's because I drench my face. I love this Huda Beauty One Coat Wow mascara. Huda is just that brand that when they do something, they do it. They do it well. That literally is just one coat. Wow. Love to do my lower lash line. If you feel like this is still a little glowy for you, you know what you can do. Remember the layers. This brush is the brush that we use for powder. There's nothing on it. I didn't add any more of anything on it. I'm just gonna go back in and take away some of that glow. Just a little bit, not too much. And it doesn't look cakey, it doesn't look, it just looks beautiful. Gorgeous. This is usually where I would add a lash. Let's do the lippy and then I'll decide if I want to do a lash. Huda Beauty Lip Contour in Rich Brown. My favorite lip liner pencil. I love this so much, and it comes with a sharpener at the end so you can sharpen it up for that really sharp lip line. I love that. I overline my lips just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. It's a lot of Huda Beauty, I know, but I've been loving this Huda Beauty Full Filler Lip Gloss in the shade Posh. This one is my favorite from the entire collection. It just so pretty. But I think today, like, this is what I would usually wear, but I think today I want to use the Patrick Ta lip gloss. Again, they recently sent me this in PR and I'm actually obsessed with it. I know influencers say that all the time. I'm obsessed, but I am obsessed with this. This is so good. This is in the shade Obviously. And it smells like cherry candy. This is an intense plump, just by the way, so if you can't handle like a stinging, plumping feeling, this may not be the gloss for you. But I love that. Like, when you tell me a plumping lip gloss, I want to feel the sting, you know? I love her. She's so pretty. We don't need that extra gloss. But this is a look. Usually I would just throw a lash on after that, and that is it. For lashes, I usually do like a corner lash like this. Let me just show you what that would look like. I'm just gonna pretend to pop one on. Yeah, and that's kind of what that would look like. You know, just a little extra something. I usually just do corner lashes now, which is weird because I used to do the biggest lashes imaginable. 35 mm's. I used to wear 35 mm's, but now I wear these tiny little corner lashes. Damn, I don't even do a full lash anymore. Just a corner lash. I'm gonna get dressed and I'll be back just to show you the finished look. Yeah. Hey girls, I'm back. This is the finished look. This look came out amazing. I wish you could see it in person. It's just, I feel like the camera is not doing it justice, but it's just so good. So good. Glowy, but still put together. It's very glowy but matte at the same time. I'm not sure how I do that, but I do. Love it. It's gorgeous. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to comment and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Does that sound good? Did I do that good? I think I did that one good. Bye, love you, bye. Mwah. I feel like the camera just does not do this look justice at all. Look at that.